Some people can only recognize the true value of something or someone when that something or someone is no longer present in their lives. This happens often in our relationships, whether they are friendships, professional, family, or romantic. Many times, these people are unable to see what's in front of them, and only when they lose it do they realize how essential that presence was. You, who were underestimated, who were set aside for no apparent reason, know exactly what that feels like. And maybe now, they are realizing that you were indeed the blessing that made their lives better. As they say, some people only realize what they have when they lose it. Unfortunately, this is a bitter truth of life. You were discarded prematurely, judged superficially, as if your worth could be measured only by what was immediately visible. But true essence, what really counts, lies beyond appearances. And now, after you've withdrawn your attention, your care, and your effort, those people who didn't value you before are beginning to see what they've lost. What once seemed insignificant or ordinary now reveals itself as an immense loss, a void that can't be filled by another person, another relationship, or anything else. But the question that remains is it too late for them? After all that has happened, is there room for reconciliation, for a fresh start, or has this chapter already been closed? The answer to this depends on many factors, but what's most important is that now you understand your worth. You know what you deserve, and you won't settle for less than that. The time of accepting crumbs of attention and being treated as an option is over. How many times have you witnessed situations like this? Someone didn't value you while you were there, while you were dedicating your time, your energy, and your love. When you finally decided to walk away, to move on and focus on yourself, suddenly, that person realized their mistake. This happens because some people simply don't have the emotional maturity to recognize the value of another person until their absence makes it obvious. They only understand the impact of your presence when it's already too late. And don't think this is something rare or isolated. We've all, at some point in life, gone through something similar. Perhaps it was in a romantic relationship, in a friendship, or even in a workplace. You were there, doing your best, offering what was most genuine and valuable about yourself. Yet for some reason, the other party couldn't see your true worth. They didn't recognize how important you were, and instead, they underestimated you. Now, with your absence, they realize that what they lost is irreplaceable. Your absence speaks louder than any words could. When you walk away, when you decide that you don't deserve to be treated just any way, that's when the true impact of your presence becomes clear. And at that moment, the person who underestimated you begins to understand that you weren't just another person in their life. You were the person who made the difference, who brought balance, joy, and support. The pain of loss opens many people's eyes, but for you, this moment of stepping back is your chance to realize your own value. Now imagine this. You prayed. You asked God to bring someone special into your life. Someone who would understand you, respect you, walk alongside you in daily battles. You asked for the right guidance, the right opportunities, the right company. And then you appeared in someone's life. You had exactly what that person needed: understanding, love, patience, support. You were the answer to their prayers, even if they didn't know it at the time. But because you didn't fit the mold they had imagined, because you didn't have the exact profile they were expecting, you were discarded as if you had no value. They looked at you, and in a superficial way, decided that you couldn't be what they were waiting for. Many times, people have unrealistic expectations and prejudices that blind them to what really matters. They cling to fixed ideas of how things should be, instead of seeing what is truly in front of them. And this leads to missed opportunities, to the loss of incredible people who could completely change their lives. You were that person, but because you didn't match their immediate expectations, you were underestimated, ignored. Time passed, and now, in your absence, that person realized that you were the answer to their prayers. Everything they wanted and needed was in you, but they were incapable of seeing it at the right moment. And then, you made the decision to walk away. You realized you had no more time to waste on someone who couldn't see your value. You decided that your energy, your attention, and your love were too precious to be wasted on someone who didn't know how to appreciate them. And in that moment, something changed. The person who ignored you, who toyed with your feelings, who left you as a second option, started to realize the mistake they had made. The time you gave to yourself, the space you created, made them finally understand that you were the real blessing. But is there still time for them now? That's the big question. After everything, is there still a chance for that person to come back into your life? Or has their time passed? The answer, as always, depends on you. You are the one who decides what's best for your life. But the most important thing is that now you know your worth. You know that you don't deserve to be treated casually, like an option. You deserve to be a priority, and that knowledge is the greatest weapon you can have. This message is strong and may resonate with many people, but it's important to remember that it's not for everyone. Some may feel uncomfortable, and that's understandable, because it touches sensitive points. However, for those who have been through something similar, this is the time to reflect. We are all together on this journey of learning, and understanding our worth is an essential part of that process. When you were trapped in that situation, the feeling of being chained was clear. You felt limited, trapped in an emotional cycle that seemed never-ending. One moment everything was fine, and the next, it all fell apart. That constant instability is exhausting, and many times you felt like you were in a back-and-forth game, not knowing what to expect from the next day. These emotional and mental chains are like invisible prisons, and when they are finally broken, the sense of relief is liberating. These chains that bound you weren't just emotional, they were spiritual and psychological too. You found yourself trapped in a dynamic that wasn't good for you, but for some reason, you stayed in it. Maybe because you believed you could change the situation. Maybe because you hoped the other person would change. But the truth is that these chains could only be broken when you made the decision to set yourself free. And now, with divine help, you've managed to break those bonds and are experiencing a new phase of freedom and growth. The cycle has come to an end. When we talk about the end of a cycle, many people think that it means the end of everything, the definitive termination of any possibility. But that's not always true. The end of a cycle can mean the end of destructive patterns, the end of behaviors that weren't healthy, the end of a dynamic that was harming you. This doesn't necessarily mean that you will never see or speak to the person involved again, but it means that the way things were before no longer exists. Now you are aware of your worth, and the cycle of disrespect and neglect has ended. You will no longer accept less than you deserve. Even though you have walked away, even though you have decided to block that person from your life and move on, the impact of your love is still present. True love doesn't disappear overnight. It leaves marks, and those marks remain in the mind and heart of the person who once had the privilege of experiencing that love. Even if they try to move on, even if they try to fill the void with other people or other experiences, your love will always be there, as a constant reminder of what they lost. And it's not easy to deal with that reality. Knowing that the love you offered was unique and irreplaceable is powerful. You left a mark that won't be erased, and that person knows they will hardly find someone who compares to you. You are living rent-free in their mind because they know they made a mistake by letting you go. And now they have to deal with the consequences of that choice. This situation wasn't in vain. You learned from it. You emerged stronger, wiser, and more aware of your value. This was a process of personal growth, and now you are ready for a new phase in your life. The cycle of giving without receiving in return is over. You've learned to set boundaries, to value yourself, and most importantly, to love yourself. Often, we are conditioned to give, and give, without thinking of ourselves. This is especially true when we have a generous heart and are willing to help. But God allowed you to go through this situation so that you could learn the value of self-care. He wanted you to understand that prioritizing yourself is not selfish. In fact, it is necessary. God showed you what to accept and what to reject, what you deserve and what you should never tolerate again. And with this knowledge, you are ready for a new phase in your life. And now that you've gone through this phase of learning, God will restore everything that was lost. He will replenish your energy, your spirit, and your confidence. He will teach you to use the same dedication you gave to others to care for yourself. He wants you to redirect that energy inward so you understand that you are worthy of love, respect, and care, just as you have always offered to others. And this is not selfishness, it is wisdom. You spent a long time giving your energy, your time, and your attention to people who didn't know how to value what you were offering. Now is the time to look within, to strengthen yourself, and to invest in the most important person in your life, you. God never abandons those on the path of growth. If He guided you through this experience, it was because He wanted you to learn something important. Perhaps, for a long time, you believed your purpose was to care for others, that your mission was to help and support. But now, He wants you to know that you also deserve to be cared for, to be loved and appreciated. And from this moment on, the focus must be solely on you. This is a time of renewal, healing, and rebuilding. It is a moment of reflection, where you will be able to evaluate everything you've been through and understand that each experience had a purpose. Even the most painful moments, those that made you doubt yourself, serve to shape the person you are becoming now. Everything is part of a greater plan, and you are more prepared than ever to face what comes next. From now on, you will realize that self-love is not just an abstract concept, but something real and powerful that transforms lives. By truly loving yourself, you will no longer allow yourself to be treated with disrespect. You will not accept anything less than you deserve. And above all, you will know that the right people will enter your life when you are ready to receive them, without carrying the weight of past experiences. God is renewing your cup, filling your heart with new energy, new strength. He is showing you how it is possible to rebuild yourself from the ruins of broken relationships and situations that seemed like dead ends. What once seemed like an irreparable loss is now transforming into an opportunity for growth and strength. You have become a stronger, wiser, and more self-aware version of yourself. And that alone is already a blessing. If those who hurt or underestimated you are meant to return to your life, that is not a question for you to resolve right now. What is meant to happen will happen at the right time, in the right way. But at this moment, your attention should be completely focused on yourself. This is the time to rebuild, to care for your mind, your heart, and your spirit. What God has in store for you is far greater than anything you can imagine. What He is preparing requires you to be in your best version, to be fully aligned with your purpose. And when you are in that place of balance, inner strength, and self-confidence, the right people will appear. Healthy relationships, incredible opportunities, and experiences that will enrich you in ways you could never have imagined. But for that to happen, you need to be ready. And being ready means being at peace with yourself, knowing that you are enough exactly as you are. Life has cycles, and the one that has now ended was just one of the many you will face. However, the difference now is that you are more prepared. You've learned valuable lessons, and these lessons will guide you to make wiser decisions in the future. The people who underestimated you, who didn't know how to value you, are part of a chapter that is now behind you. They had the chance to be by your side, but through their own choices and attitudes, they wasted that opportunity. Now they are dealing with the consequences of those choices while you are moving forward, stronger and more aware of who you are. And it's important to understand that not everyone has the necessary maturity to deal with loss. Some people will try to reach out to you again, apologize, say they've changed. And maybe some of them really have changed. But here is where your discernment comes into play. Your ability to evaluate whether these people deserve a place in your new phase of life. Not everyone who was part of your past should be present in your future. Not everyone who hurt you deserves the opportunity to be part of your journey of success. The most important thing now is for you to allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to expand beyond the limits that previously held you back. You are in a new phase, a phase where you control the pace, set the boundaries, and decide who can or cannot walk alongside you. This freedom is a gift, and using it wisely will make all the difference in your next steps. Your presence, your love, and your dedication were always valuable. And even though these qualities were underestimated in the past, you should not let that define how you see yourself. On the contrary, it's time to realize that everything you offered, even if it wasn't recognized at the time, was a demonstration of your greatness. And that greatness is still within you, ready to be fully lived, but this time, in favor of yourself. Remember, the scars you carry are not signs of weakness. They are symbols of overcoming, of strength, and of resilience. Each one of them tells a story of how you faced challenges, suffered disappointments, but emerged stronger on the other side. And it's these scars that make you unique, that remind you how far you've come, and how much you still have to conquer. The love you offered in the past is still present, even if in a different form. It didn't disappear, but it has been transformed. Now, it's a love that should be directed toward yourself, for your own healing and personal growth. This is the time to fill yourself with self-love, to care for yourself, to nurture yourself. The more you love yourself, the more prepared you will be to receive the best that life has to offer. You are on a path of growth, of evolution. This is your moment to shine, to stand out, and to show the world who you truly are. And more importantly, this is the moment to show yourself who you truly are. The person who has gone through challenges, who has faced disappointments, but who emerged stronger, more aware, and more powerful. Life is a constant process of learning. Every experience, every mistake, every victory is part of that journey. And now, you are more prepared than ever to move forward, to achieve what is rightfully yours, to live a full and meaningful life. Don't allow the past to hold you back. Don't let others' mistakes define your future. What lies ahead of you is much greater than anything that's behind you. Be brave, be firm. Keep walking with the certainty that you are on the right path. You are a blessing in the lives of many people. And now is the time to be the blessing in your own life. Value yourself, take care of yourself, and prepare, because the best is yet to come. What God has in store for you is greater than any loss you've ever suffered, greater than any pain you've ever felt. What is to come is a gift, and you will be more than ready to receive it. Have you realized how life works in cycles? We all go through phases, and each one has a specific purpose. Some cycles are shorter, others are longer, but they all bring important lessons. The cycle you've just gone through, of being underestimated, ignored, or even disrespected, was a crucial part of your growth. It taught you lessons that you probably couldn't have learned any other way. And now, with that cycle ending, you are stronger and more prepared for the next chapter of your life. Imagine how easy it would be if everyone had the ability to see the value of others right away. But the truth is, not everyone has that maturity. Many people are stuck in unrealistic expectations, superficial standards of judgment that prevent them from seeing what really matters. You, who gave your best, were a victim of this kind of emotional blindness. But the good news is that you are no longer trapped by it. You've freed yourself. And when we talk about liberation, we are not just referring to the fact that you physically distanced yourself from those who didn't value you. We are talking about something deeper: emotional, mental, and spiritual liberation. You freed yourself from destructive patterns, from toxic cycles that kept you trapped in a spiral of suffering and frustration. This is not something small. It is an immense victory, and you should be proud of it. The freedom you've gained isn't just external. It's an internal freedom, one that allows you to look at the future with clarity and confidence. Now, you understand that you don't need to accept crumbs of love, attention, or respect. You know your worth, and that is the greatest achievement anyone can have. But what happens to those who underestimated you? Well, it's inevitable that at some point, they will realize the mistake they made. When you distance yourself, when you decide to move on, your absence creates an impact. No matter how much they try to continue with their lives, they will feel the lack of your presence, your energy, the love you offered. And that is something they will not be able to replace. Now, think for a moment about the idea that your absence is as powerful as your presence. When you were by these people's side, perhaps they didn't know how to value what they had. But now, with you out of their reach, they feel the weight of your absence. And this is a constant reminder that what they lost is something unique, something they won't easily find elsewhere. This realization brings a kind of silent suffering to those who underestimated you. They begin to understand that what they had in you cannot be replicated or replaced. Your attention, your care, your patience, all of this was something special. And now, with your absence, they face the reality that they threw away a valuable opportunity. And worse, perhaps that opportunity will never come back. The truth is, many people spend their entire lives trying to fill a void with things or people that can't offer what they really need. And that is exactly what will happen to those who lost you. They may try to find someone who has your qualities, who offers the same level of dedication and love. But it will never be the same. Because what you offered was authentic, unique, and true. That sense of loss will follow them, even if they try to hide it. They will remember you, the conversations you had, the moments you shared, the things you did for them. All of this will remain in their minds, even as time passes. Because when someone is a true blessing in another person's life, that presence is not easily forgotten. You may not realize it, but the impact you made in these people's lives is deep. And in a way, you will continue to be a part of their lives, even in your absence. The love you offered, the attention you gave, the words of support you shared, all of that will stay with them. But the difference now is that you are moving forward, focusing on yourself, while they deal with the consequences of the choices they made. Now, it's important for you to understand one thing. Your journey doesn't depend on these people. Your success, your happiness, and your personal growth are not tied to what they think or feel. Life moves on, and you are on a path of evolution. What's past is past. You've learned from what you experienced. And now it's time to move forward, with your head held high, knowing that the future holds greater things for you. Remember that no one can take away what is rightfully yours. If God has something reserved for you, nothing and no one can stop that from reaching you. But for you to be ready to receive these blessings, you need to be at peace with yourself. You need to leave the past behind and look to the future, with hope and confidence. If those people are meant to come back into your life, that's a question only time will answer. What you can control now is your present. You can choose to focus on yourself, on your growth, on your happiness. The rest is a consequence of the choices you make from now on. And by focusing on yourself, you are not only healing, but also preparing for the great things that are to come. God has bigger plans for your life, and for you to be ready for them. You need this period of introspection and self-awareness. You need to reconnect with yourself, to learn to truly love yourself, without depending on external validation from those who didn't know how to value you. That self-love is the key to everything you desire. When you truly love yourself, when you understand that you deserve the best, the universe begins to work in your favor. The right doors open, the right opportunities appear, and the right people come into your life. But this only happens when you are aligned with yourself, when you understand that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And you do deserve it. You deserve more than being an option. You deserve to be the priority in someone's life. You deserve genuine love, care, attention. You deserve relationships that elevate you, that help you grow, not those that diminish you or make you feel less than you are. This is the time to empower yourself, to look in the mirror and recognize the strength that lies within you. The strength of someone who has gone through difficulties but never gave up. The strength of someone who was underestimated but refused to accept that label. The strength of someone who knows that, no matter how much they have been hurt, they still have a lot of love to give. But now, with wisdom and discernment. The road ahead may not be easy, but it will certainly be rewarding. You are on a journey of self-discovery, of self-worth, and that alone is already an immense victory. Now think about how wonderful it would be to fully embrace this new phase of your life. A phase where you are the protagonist, where the decisions are yours, and where you are in control of your destiny. Imagine waking up every day with the certainty that you are on the right path, that you are doing the best for yourself, and that you are creating a life full of purpose and meaning. And this life is possible. Everything you've been through up until now was just preparation for what's coming. The best is yet to come. God has grand plans for you, and each step you take toward your personal growth is a step closer to achieving those blessings. Remember that nothing happens by chance. Everything has a reason, a purpose. Even the disappointments and pains you experienced serve to prepare you, to strengthen you. And now you are ready to receive what life has to offer, ready to live a life that is full and true. When you look at the future, don't just see what you lost or left behind. See what lies ahead. Incredible opportunities, wonderful people, enriching experiences. All of this is waiting for you. But for you to be able to embrace these blessings, you need to leave the past where it belongs, in the past. You are not defined by what has happened to you. You are defined by who you choose to be from now on, and the choice is yours. You can choose to stay trapped in resentment, or you can choose to free yourself and move forward, with your head held high, knowing that the best is yet to come. Keep walking with confidence. Keep believing in yourself. What is reserved for you is far greater than any pain you felt, greater than any loss you faced. Life is offering you a new chance, a chance to start over, to reinvent yourself, to live authentically and fully. And you deserve this chance. You deserve to be happy, to be loved, and to be respected. Now, free from the chains of the past and aware of your worth, you can move forward with confidence, knowing that the best is yet to come. The future holds achievements, healthy relationships, and blessings that will be yours because you chose to prioritize yourself and to love yourself. What's behind you is gone, and now it's time to embrace this new journey where you are the protagonist and your destiny is in your hands.